Hey everyone, I'm David.
And I'm Ro.
And we just got back on the road and we're traveling and exploring again. And we're here in the Ozarks in southern Missouri in a free campground. And it is so beautiful here. And Ro and I were just sort of reminiscing on what our favorite places that we've camped at have been. And we decided to share that with you guys.
This first area may come as no surprise for those of you that have been following us for a long time. You know, we have been on the road for 4.5 years at this point, so if you guys have been following us, you know what I'm probably about to say, and that is the Cascade mountain range, and really just the Pacific Northwest in general is by far my favorite place to have visited. It's my favorite place to go back to every year. It is so nice. The thing that we love the most about the Cascades is looking out at the mountain range. Everything is so jagged and sharp and steep. And when we very first visited there, it was so unique to any other mountain range we've ever visited before, because all the other mountain ranges, you don't really realize how rounded and softer their features are from, you know, millennia and decades of erosion from its original creation. And the Cascades are one of the youngest mountain ranges. It could be the youngest mountain range in the United States. I'm really not sure. But its jaggedness, those steep cliffs, the awesome, cool, interesting rock formations in the Cascades that are so mesmerizing to us when we're out there. That's why they're so cool, is because they're so young. So knowing that and just camping in the Cascade mountain range has been really, really fun for us, and we really love going back every single year. Now, I am sad that we have never been to the Cascade National Forest, or National Park. I believe that there's one up there. I don't know. We've never been. And so there's just so much to do in the Pacific Northwest, just excluding the Cascades too, you know. There's the Olympic Peninsula and the Olympic Mountain Range, and, you know, just going down into Oregon. There are so many things. That entire area is so beautiful. We have yet to run out of things to do every time we visit. So yes, that happens to be my number one absolutely favorite place to go back to. You know, we've been to Mount Rainier National Park. That's a freaking volcano. You can see it all from like everywhere up in the Seattle, everywhere area, because it's such a massive and prominent mountain. It is so cool to look at. The camping situation in the Cascades is by far some of the best camping we've ever been able to find. You know, I love to tell you guys that all you have to do when you're in a national forest is pick a forest road and drive down it, and you are nearly guaranteed to find boondocking and just open camping all over the place. Well, the place that is the most true for us of any place we've ever visited has been in the Cascade Mountain Range. It is expansive, and there is free camping everywhere, and it is so easy to find. It's one of our absolute favorite things to do in the area. We love going every single year and picking a new campsite or finding a new awesome campsite. And a lot of times we can't get our trailer to these campsites. These are just campsites where the only thing we can get to it in is our truck, or like maybe if someone wanted to go like jeeping in the area, there are some even cooler campsites that you could definitely get to. So it's really fun to go and explore around, and it actually makes me sad every time we have to leave the area, because it snows a lot and it rains a lot in that area, and it's just not a viable option for us all year round. Otherwise, I don't think we would leave when winter rolled around, because if it was warm and not wet and not snowy, and we could still get to some of those awesome campsites up in the Cascades, we totally would.
The next area I'm going to talk about is one that we return to every single year, and that is just the whole area around Phoenix, Arizona. And the reason that we always go back is because it's warm there in the winter, and there is so much to do. We have some specific campsites that we always go back to near Phoenix, Arizona, to snowbird down there and essentially skip the cold winter weather and the snow for the year. And things to explore in the area they're just everywhere. The Tonto National Forest is massive. And the Superstition Wilderness and the Four Peaks Wilderness are so incredible, and the hiking trails that you can go on in those wildernesses are pretty awesome, and Ro and I have done some exploring in there, and it's pretty breathtaking. And if you are looking to snowbird this winter like Ro and I are, then I've got good news for you. It's pretty easy to find camping around the Phoenix area. If you boondock like we do, there is BLM land that sort of surrounds Phoenix, and then on the east side, you've got the whole Tonto National Forest. It can be a little difficult finding camping in the Tonto because it's pretty mountainous and the elevation does start to go up a little bit, and it can stay a little colder in the higher parts of the Tonto. But if you're not a boondocker, then it's just super easy. There are so many state parks around the Phoenix area that don't really charge that much, and Ro and I have gone into some of these state parks and done some exploring, and there's always a ton of open campsites there. So if you're a snowboarder, if you're
I don't think snowboarders are going to Phoenix.
If you're a snowboarder, do not go to Phoenix. There's no snow there. But if you are a snowbirder like we are, and you haven't gone to the Phoenix area, then I highly recommend it. It stays very warm there year round. Camping's easy to find, and it's beautiful. And to make finding campsites even easier, you will definitely want to check out our favorite smartphone app for finding campgrounds, the DYRT. The DYRT is the best campsite finding website and smartphone app we've ever used. However you camp, in a tent, trailer, RV, or cabin, the DYRT makes finding accommodations easy. And with over 1 million listings, you're sure to find the perfect campsite. The DYRT website and app are free to use. However, they have an extremely affordable Pro membership available for only $3 per month. Pro has many indispensable features for travelers like us, such as offline access and downloadable maps so you can search for campsites anywhere, map overlays for BLM land, national forests, and national parks so there's no questioning what land you're on, and a trip planner so you can see all the campgrounds and fuel stops along your route. A Pro membership will also get you up to 40% off at hundreds of campgrounds across the country and up to 30% off camping gear made by many major brands. And if you go through the link in the video description below and use promo code FATE, you'll receive a free 90-day membership to the DYRT Pro. Unlock better camping with exclusive features and savings with the DYRT Pro.
Another favorite spot of ours, which some of you may have found us from a video that we made there where we got stuck in the mud and Thomas and Stacy with I'm Not Lost I'm RVing had to come and dig us out. That was an experience. That was great. That was not our first time there either. Think we'd learn our lesson the first time. Anyway, that would be the Sedona, Arizona area. That includes Camp Verde. There's Jerome is in the area. It's really pretty. Old mining town, and we have actually been every spring for 3 years now, including this last spring. We went to Camp Verde for a very short time, and then it rained and it was too muddy, and so we left. But we have technically been there 3 times, and it is a place that we always want to go back to because there is so much to do in the area. So many historical sites. Not only is there the old mining town of Jerome, but there are old Native American heritage sites in the area. There's like Palatki, Hananki, there's Montezuma's Well, Montezuma's Castle. There are petroglyphs everywhere. It's such a beautiful area. And you can definitely tell when you're in Sedona because it's just red rocks everywhere and it's gorgeous. So, so pretty. There are so many arches you can hike to. We've taken Sweetie there for her birthday. Like, it's an absolutely gorgeous area. The biggest downside that we ever have every single time we visited Sedona is that the camping, while there's a lot there and there's a lot of boondocking and it's in a very popular area, it's nearly impossible to get into. You cannot find a private site to save your lives. You have to go so far away from Sedona, and then it's like a 45-minute drive back into the area just to go exploring, which is fine. That's what we end up doing because, well, we like being away from people and being where it's really busy. You know, being woken up at 6 in the morning by tour buses going by is just, it's just a little too much. So we like to get away from the hubbub. And it is a place that we definitely want to go back to. We have not seen all that there is to see there. But I think that in the future, it's probably going to be one of those places where, since the camping is so hard to find, we'll probably just like fly in with a group of friends and maybe rent like an Airbnb and go exploring. You know, there are Jeep rentals. The town of Sedona is adorable with cute little eateries, and the whole area is just drop dead gorgeous. And I love going back, and I can't wait to go back again.
Another awesome Red Rocks destination that we love going to. We've been back multiple times, and we absolutely plan on going back there in the future, is Moab, Utah. You know, can you tell we like it? I've got a Moab hat on, arches. It's actually surprisingly the only place that Ro and I have bought merch from. You know, we've decked ourselves out in Moab swag while we were there. Ro's got a sweatshirt, I have a sweatshirt and a hat, and I think we've got some other things. I don't know.
I have a t-shirt.
Yeah, and we jokingly call it Moab too, just like between Ro and I. We're like, oh, going back to Moab or whatever, but don't say that around the locals. They're not into it. And yeah, Moab is just so awesome. It's like a sort of a snowbird destination. It's more like a spring and fall destination, even though it can rain quite a bit. But that's like when the temperature is perfect. In the winter, I think it gets a little too cold. And then in the summer, definitely way too hot for us to boondock there. But there's a ton of BLM land, I believe, north of Moab that Ro and I have stayed at. And yeah, there's just a ton of sites. It is really busy in Moab because it is like just a classic tourist destination, because Arches National Park is there, Canyonlands National Park, Dead Horse State Park is there, and then there is also just a ton of off-roading that you can do in the area. Ro and I have rented Jeeps, and we have taken the Jeep into Canyonlands and through the Schaefer switchbacks and then into the BLM land that like leads right out of Canyonlands, and it was awesome. And that, I mean, that's like what Moab is really known for, is off-roading. So if that's something you're into and you haven't been to Moab yet, then you definitely need to visit it. Something to keep in mind though, if you do go to Moab, is, like I said, it is really, really busy there, especially the national parks. Arches National Park, we've heard rumors that they might go on a lottery system, because there's always this massive line to get into the national park, you know, like during spring, summer especially, and then into fall. Canyonlands, however, is surprisingly not that busy, and you know, you basically have like free reign of the park while you're there. No lines, no nothing. But going into the small town of Moab, it's super busy there too. There's just tourism nonstop there, but it is super cute, and there are a lot of RV parks in the area as well that I'm sure you'll be able to get into. Ro and I have never stayed at RV parks when we were in Moab, so I don't know how backed up they are, if you need a reservation or if you'll just be able to drive in. So call ahead before you head in if you're wanting to stay at an RV park. But if you're gonna boondock, you'll probably be able to find something.
You guys might notice a trend. We mention Utah a lot, and I'm going to mention it again. We have camped only once near Capitol Reef National Park, and we camped sort of close. We ended up camping in the Fishlake National Forest, and I definitely want to go back. Unfortunately, the Fishlake National Forest is over 9,000 feet, and I have some pretty severe heart palpitations and can't walk very far at all, so it's not a place that I want to visit all the time or every year, but going back would be amazing. We missed so many things that we didn't get to see in Capitol Reef National Park. There's awesome stargazing. It is one of the darkest places in the world, and has awesome photography, beautiful landscapes. Definitely want to go back. There's also the Dixie National Forest south of Capitol Reef National Park, and we've been there a couple times, and we love going back there as well. Now, Fishlake National Forest is very high elevation, and we were there middle of summer, July, and we still couldn't get to the top of the mountain nearby, which was just like hilltop something or other. And we couldn't get up there because there was still so much snow on the ground in July. In July, guys. So it's not a place that we can definitely go to in winter at all whatsoever. Middle of summer, great place to go and visit Fishlake National Park, or Fishlake National Forest, but the Dixie National Forest is high desert and much lower elevation than Fishlake, and we really enjoy going there in the spring. Late April, May, sometimes early April, it can still be pretty cold there. High desert is some of our favorite area to camp because, you know, they don't have so many prickly things that Sweetie can shove her face into. There just aren't that many cacti around, and if there are, it's typically just prickly pear, and Sweetie doesn't really care about prickly pear at all. And we really love going there because it's nice and warm, it's typically not very populated, and there's still a ton of camping. Utah has so much camping. And we love being out there. We love seeing the beautiful sights. You know, the Mighty Five in Utah. We can't talk about them enough. Capitol Reef, Arches, Canyonlands, Bryce Canyon, and Zion. We haven't even seen those two yet. We've only been to 3 of the freaking Mighty Five. Of course we want to go back to Utah. Every chance we get. We love Utah. It's definitely our go-to springtime destination.
And then the last place we want to talk about is actually one that we've only been to once.
Been to,
but
it's more
we've
like driven past.
Yeah, and we've actually never camped there. And that is the Grand Tetons National Park and the surrounding area. I forget what the national forest is that's right outside of it that we drove through. But it was so beautiful. I'll drop the name right here. Look at that later.
Thomas and Stacy told us that we should definitely go and visit. They've camped there recently.
Yeah, and it was just so beautiful there, and Ro and I, we looked at each other and we were like, we have to come back. But we just haven't gotten a really good opportunity to go back at a time when it's actually warm there. I mean, when we drove through, it was pretty dang cold. Yeah.
There was snow on the ground.
But,
even.
oh my God, it just looks so beautiful. The national forests there are huge, and we've heard that there's a ton of camping opportunities, a ton of boondocking there.
Where, like, you'll have a view of, like, the Tetons from your campsite.
Yeah, and so that's...
What?
Yeah, so the Grand Tetons National Park is kind of like an honorable mention on this list because we haven't actually camped there, but we are dying to go back and actually explore it, or experience it for real.
Yes.
But those have been our favorite places that we continually go back to, some every single year. Let us know what your guys' favorite places to camp are down in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And that's all for this video. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. You saying bye too? Yeah, you're saying bye.
Oh, somebody goodbye. Yeah.